Hello everyone, welcome back to our SolidWorks course. In this video, we would be taking a new exercise. This exercise is a very interesting one. Let's move forward and take a look at our 3D model for this exercise. You can see here that we would be modeling this intake manifold used in automobiles. Let's not waste any time and get started with SolidWorks. We will launch SolidWorks and begin with our modeling. For this, first I would be sketching on the right plane. I will click on the right plane and select Sketch. Next, I would be first creating a circular profile from the origin, like this. I will give this circle a diameter of 120 millimeters. I will enter 120 and then press the Enter key on my keyboard. Next, I will create a line horizontally connecting these two reference points over here and then press Escape. I will trim off the bottom portion of the circle because we want only this part to be extruded. Once we have done this, we will go to Features and select Extruded Boss Base. We will now extrude this profile from the mid plane for a distance of 80 millimeters. We will click on OK and you can see that our surface has been generated. This is our first feature. Now again I will go to the right plane over here and sketch on it again. I will press Ctrl 8 and then set it normal to the screen. Next, again here I would be creating a new circle, going to Smart Dimensions and then selecting this circle and give it a dimension of 97.5 millimeters. I will press the Enter key and add my dimension. Once I have defined this circle, I will press Ctrl Q and then exit the sketch. Why this circle was drawn, I will show you in a while. From Features, we will go to the drop down of Curves. We will first exit the sketch mode by pressing Ctrl Q. We will go to Features and from the drop down of Curves, we will select Split Line. And from these options of split, we will select Projection. Now here it is asking what line do I want. This is the line or sketch that I want, and here it is asking what face do I want to split. I will say this face, and when I click on OK, you can see that this face has been split about the line I showed you before. You can see that now these two are different faces. Why we did this, I will show you at the end of our 3D modeling. But now let's move forward and create the intake manifold. Now I will again select the right plane and then sketch on it. I will press Ctrl 8 and then set it normal to our screens. From here, what I will do is that I will create a 3-point arc like this, starting from this point over here. Second point would be there and my third point would be somewhere over here. Next, what I will do is that I will give this arc a radius of 100 millimeters like this, and then by pressing Escape, I will select this point, press Ctrl key and select this edge over here and say Make Coincident. Once I have done this, you can see that my arc is now defined. Now I will select the line command and create a straight line or an horizontal line and then press Escape. I will select both of these entities using the box selection and then say Make Tangent. Once I have done this, I will specify this endpoint over here from our center, which is at a distance of 81.5. Once I have entered this and defined the sketch completely, I will now press Ctrl Q and exit the sketch and also rebuild my part. For the next step, what I will do is that I will create a plane at this intersection using this line as my reference. For that, I will go to the drop down of Reference Geometry and select Plane from here. My first reference would be this line and my second reference would be this point over here. You can see that the preview of the plane is being shown. I will click on OK and then generate this plane. Now I will select this plane and start sketching on it. I will press Ctrl 8 and set it normal to my screens. I will zoom in a bit over here, select a corner rectangle like this and create a corner rectangle over here. Now what I will do here is that I will give this the dimensions. The dimensions for this line are 57.5. I will enter it and then give this dimension of the rectangle as 42 millimeters. I will press enter and you can see that my dimensions have been added. Now I just have to simply define the sketch. I will press escape, exit the command. Now I will right click on this line, select midpoint, press Ctrl and then select the origin over here, and here I will say make pierce. You can see after adding this sketch relation, my sketch is now completely defined. What it did over here is that it pierced the center point of this line on this sketch or on this line that we had created in the previous sketch. You press Ctrl 8 and you can see that this is how my profile is looking. Now what I will do, I will go to the sketch fillet over here, and then by using box select I will select all of these. You can see that it is showing me a message, a segment being filleted has a midpoint or equal length or equidistant relation. Equidistant relation will be deleted and the geometry move if the fill is created. If we will say yes, again we will say yes, and you can see that it has selected all the edges where a fillet would be applied. Here I will enter the value of my fillet, that is 15 millimeters. I will enter 15 and then click on OK. You can see that my fillets have been added. I will click on OK and then press Ctrl Q again in order to exit the sketch mode and then rebuild our part. Once this has been done, I will show you how to use the sweep feature over here. I will select swept boss base from here, and first input that we have to give is our profile. For that we can select it directly from here. You can see that sketch has been added, or else I can delete clear selection from here and then select the sketch from here from the drop down. Next it is asking for my path. I will select this. You can see here now it is showing us a preview of how our sweep would be looking like. Now that we are okay with this sweep, we will press OK and then generate this sweep. Next what I will do is that I will create this front part over here. Before moving, we will hide this plane as it no longer serves any purpose. Now I would be creating a new plane offset from this face over here. I will go to plane and you can see that as my face was already selected, it created a plane at a distance of 10 millimeters from it, but we want it to be at a distance of 57.5 millimeters. You can see now the preview of a plane is being shown. I will click on OK and generate this plane. Now what I will do here is that I will click on this plane and then go to the sketch mode. Now I will press Ctrl 8 and then set it normal to our screens. I will right click on this edge, and from here I will say select tangency. You can see here that all the edges that were tangent have been selected. I will go to convert entities and you can see that directly this sketch has been converted onto this plane over here. Now we will again select this whole sketch, again right click on it and then select chain from here. It has selected all of these lines and all of these curves. I will say offset entities and offset these entities at a distance of 7.5 millimeters on the outside direction. Once this is done, I will press OK and you can see that my offset has been created. Now we have to select the sketch, right click on it and say select chain and then make it for construction, as we don't want it to be included in our 3D model. Once this is done, I will click on OK and you can see my sketches are ready. Here I will be showing you how to use Loft. I will go to features and from here first I will have to exit the sketch mode by pressing Ctrl Q. I will go to features and from here I will select lofted boss piece. Once we are in the menu over here, we will have to specify the endpoints of the loft or the sketches from where the loft will be generated. What you can do over here is that you can select the sketch from here. You can directly select the sketch from here or from the screen directly. Let's say if I select the sketch from here directly, you can see that sketch 5 has been added. Next, we will add the previous sketch that we had created over here. It is in the drop down of the sweep. I will select that sketch over here, and you can see that the loft is being generated. But if you closely take a look at it, it is not proper. For that, what you need to do is that you need to move this point over here from there to here. You can see that now the loft that is generated is consistent and does not have any errors like we saw previously. But even if you zoom over here, you can see that it is now twisted as well. You have to look closely and align these points so that they are in front of each other. You can see here, now that we have set this line as a straight line, the preview of the loft is now consistent and there are no twisting on this loft. I will show you what would have happened if I had placed this line over somewhere here. Let's say over here on the top. I will make it a bit extreme. I will click on OK, and you can see that this is how my loft has been generated. But this is not the way we wanted a loft to be generated. You can see, as we had selected this point and this point, it has generated a loft in this direction. Now I will again click on loft and go to edit feature, and again I will rotate my part and move this point back to over here. As I had told you, you need to make sure that these points are in front of each other or in a straight line at least. You need to be careful while selecting these lines. I will zoom in over here, select this point and then move it onto here. It is not taking the selection. Let's see why. We will now carefully select this point and then shift it to this point over here. You can see that it is not yet aligned. Now if I move my point over here, you can see that now my loft generated is a straight one and the way we wanted it. I will click on OK, and here you can see that my loft has been generated. This plane no more serves a purpose, so I will select it and then hide it. I will press Ctrl 7 in order to set it isometric. Now you can see that our component is almost ready, but there are a few things that need to be done first. Now I will add a fillet over here. Say I will go to fillets over here and select the edge about which my fillet would be generated. I will select this edge over here and then give it a value of 5 mm. I will click on OK and generate my fillet. Once we have generated our fillet, we will again set it to isometric mode and then create a shell. Here I will show you why I had split this face about this line. Here I will select shell and specify the spaces from where the shell should be created. I will select this face over here that I had selected by splitting it, and this bottom face. In the dimension of a shell or the thickness of a shell, I will enter 2.5. If I show the preview over here by ticking this, you can see that our shell is being created in this way. I will press OK and generate my shell. Now you can see over here, why did I split this face over here? Because I wanted this extra portion over here to be present. If I had not split my face and gave this whole face as the shell, it would have generated a shell from this edge over here, leaving a thickness of 2.5. For this purpose, we had to split this face. I hope you understood how do we split a face, and you can use it later on whenever needed. Now we have to create this edges over here that would be used for mounting and would be having holes. For that, I will select this face and then start sketching on it. I will select the face and then go to the sketch mode, press Ctrl 8 and then start sketching on it. from here I will first simply create a corner rectangle like this. Now I will start dimensioning it. The height of my rectangle is 4 millimeters and it is at a distance from the center of 75 millimeters. So I will select them both and enter 75. Once I have done this, I will press escape, exit the Smart Dimensions command, select this curve over here and then go to convert entities. Once I have converted the entities, you can see that this curve is now in my sketch. Now I will go to trim entities and trim off all these entities that are no longer required. I will press escape and you can see that now my sketch is completely defined. I will go to features. Before going to features, what we can do here is that we can create both of these edges in one go. I will first again go to sketch and from the line command I will select a center line. I will create a center line from the origin over here, press escape. If I zoom in and then go to mirror entities, first I will select all the entities that I want to mirror by using the box selection. Now I won't move my mouse and then press the right mouse button. Next I will select the center line about which my mirror is supposed to be created and then again press the right mouse button. Here you can see that both the sides have been created. Now we can go to features, select extrude boss face and from the options over here we will say through all. Here it is asking us for the contours that we need to extrude. I will say this one and then this one. Once we've done this, we will check if all our input parameters are correct. Here you can notice that the direction of extrusion is in this side and there is no material over here and we have provided through all condition. For that I will simply switch the direction and you can see here that it is showing us a preview and the extrusion is taking place up to this surface over here. I will click on OK and then create this face. One important point to note over here I will show you by again editing this feature is that you need to make sure that merge results is on. I'll click on OK and then generate this feature. Now we are almost ready. What we have to do is that we have to add holes on this face over here. For that we will select the hole wizard command. Now from the hole type I will select a normal hole. The standard is asymmetric, the type of holes is drill sizes and the size of the hole over here is 4 millimeters. I will scroll up and then select 4 millimeters from the menu. Here we have 4 millimeter hole. Now the end condition would be through all. Let's move to position our hole. We will specify this face as the creation of my hole and then first arbitrarily place my hole. We will go into Smart Dimensions and then specify the dimensions of our center of the hole from the edges. That is, from here it will be 8 millimeters and from this edge over here, and I will zoom in, select the center properly. Here we have exited the Smart Dimensions command. We'll again get back into it by using the right mouse button and dragging our mouse upwards. I will select this center point and this edge over here and give it a distance of 10 millimeters. Once my hole is fully defined, I will click on OK. Again I will click on OK and generate this hole. Once this hole is created, now we have to simply pattern it. We will go and select linear pattern. Specify the direction of your pattern, that is in this direction. The spacing for our instances would be 20 millimeters and the number of instances created would be 4. You can see the preview over here. I will click on OK and generate my pattern. Now we will simply mirror this pattern on the other side. For that again we will go to the drop down, select mirror and then define or specify the plane about which a mirror is supposed to be taken. I will say front plane. It has automatically selected the feature to be mirrored as my linear pattern. I will click on OK and you can see here that the pattern or the mirror of the pattern has been created on this side as well. Now one small thing left to be done is that we have to create a small opening over here. I will show you how. I will again sketch on the right plane. Once I am into the sketch mode, I will press Ctrl 8, and from the center I will be creating a circle like this. I will go into the Smart Dimensions command and give it its dimension of 30 millimeters. Once I have added the dimension, I will go to Features, select Extruded Cut, and from here I will say Through All Both. Now I will simply click on OK and generate my cut. You can see now that we have modeled everything, our intake manifold is ready. I will press Ctrl 7 and set it normal. What we can do over here is that I can show you a sectional view of how the inside has been generated. I will select section and then specify right plane as my sectional plane. I will click on OK and then I will press spacebar and see from this direction over here. You can see this is how our intake mold has been created. We created this profile using a sweep, this one using a loft, and these were simply created by using extrusions and cut extrudes. The inside was created by using the shell command. I hope it was very clear why did we create or split that face in the first part of the video. Also, I hope that the complete modeling process for the intake manifold was understood by you all. I hope you practice this on your own and get a good hang of it. I will see you in the next video. Thank you.